Welcome back to Halloween month. I am the kaiju no Kami from the Toku and Animation News Network, and this is my quickie review for The Substance. Burn! Dun dun dun! Burn! Dun dun dun! Okay, I'll stop. Remember to click like, subscribe, the bell notification, and whatever else YouTube has you clicking on to support us. The Substance is a brand new horror movie starring Demi Moore and Margaret Kelly, something like that. It's about an aging woman who is basically being given the boot in Hollywood because she is too old to be there, and they want fresh blood. They want someone who is pretty and young that fits the bill of what they're looking for. Dennis Quaid plays a sleazy, scummy, disgusting creeper with some of the most interesting camera angles to really make you hate this guy. The camera angles in this film feel like something out of Kubrick with how they're in your face and they make you feel like, oh my god, I hate this guy already because he's all up in my business. He's past my character shield. And then when he's eating, they have like these sound effects as he's scooping up shrimp and he's like... And you're like, oh my god, does the food actually sound like that when I'm eating it? All you're missing is having the food scream like, no, you're eating me. Anyway, so this actress Elizabeth ends up being given the opportunity to try out this new product called The Substance, which will essentially clone her into a younger version, and she has to split the time. 7 days as the clone, who goes on to be called Sue. 7 days as Elizabeth. 7 days as the clone, back and forth. There always has to be balance because things go wrong if it is unbalanced. If the clone, Sue, decides she wants to spend more than the exact 7 days, it has some really bad effects on Elizabeth. The movie starts to turn into both this body horror and psychological aspect that you're like, oh my god, that's kind of gross, but also has you thinking like, damn, where is this going to go? Like, they're playing mind games with each other. Like, when Sue comes out, she will find the apartment trashed with food everywhere that she has to then clean up, and she's going nuts from it. Then Elizabeth is just getting disgusted with seeing how successful Sue is because they're the same person, but they don't act like they're the same person, even though they're supposed to. I am not the biggest fan of body horror, so I will say the last 20 minutes kind of lost me a bit. I really thought it was going to go into a more psychological aspect with the way things were going, but it went more into the realm of Cronenberg, which is fine. I still think The Fly was more gross, as it were, but be wary that the last 20 minutes kind of went into a more body horror physical realm rather than psychological, like I was personally expecting it to go based on how the rest of the movie was handled. That would be my biggest flaw with the film. Otherwise, it is well acted, beautifully shot. As I said, the camera angles are very Kubrick-like with really getting in your face. There's a hallway sequence in the building Elizabeth and Sue work in, which I said was like the hallway from every Kubrick movie ever. Even the men's bathroom that Elizabeth has to go in at one point at the beginning of the movie looks like it stepped right out of The Shining. The cinematography was just wonderful. It is so well shot. The soundtrack is incredible with this really fast-paced, booming electronic synth score that's just pleasing on the ears. It was like, oh yeah, I could listen to this soundtrack all day. It might actually be my favorite soundtrack of the year. Granted, the year's not up yet, so there's time to have another movie take that place, but right now I think this is my favorite soundtrack of the year. It is really interesting to see how these actresses play off of each other where, like I said, they're supposed to be the same character, but they're not acting like they're the same character, which was really interesting. I don't think there's much more I can say about this movie that wouldn't dive into spoilers. I definitely recommend checking out if you are a fan of body horror, or you don't mind body horror and like psychological aspects also inserted into your film. If you get kind of grossed out from Cronenberg, then this movie might not be for you, especially the last 20-ish minutes or so. But overall, I really enjoyed it. It's definitely one of the best films of the year. I just don't know how much replay value I would have with this one. And that's one thing I really have to consider when I start doing my top 10 list, is how much replay value does a movie have for me? Should my number one movie of the year be a movie I will not watch over again? That's something that I need to figure out. But in the meantime, I am going to give The Substance a solid 8 out of 10. If you have seen The Substance, let me know what you thought of it in the comments below. If not, are you looking forward to the movie? What's your favorite body horror film? Are you a body horror film person? Or do they kind of gross you out? Let me know. Click like, subscribe, the bell notification, whatever else YouTube has to click in to support me. You can support me on Patreon and Bluesky at tokuaannetwork, Facebook, Instagram, Discord at Kaiju no Kami, and my website creativitybydesignllc.com. There's also a store where you can buy Kaiju no Kami merchandise at creativitybydesignllc.com/shop. Link in the description below. And until next time, bye.